So what if everything you learned so far was just training for what you're really meant to build? Is it too late to start something new? You know, you can tell that guy who turned decades of experience into global impact to that same question. And when you stop waiting for permission, you start leading. Just ask John Waterhouse.
Ever feel like life passed you by while you were being responsible? Like everyone else got a head start on success, on happiness or purpose, and now you're just trying not to fall asleep during your own life. Well, welcome to Too Late, My Ass. This is the podcast for anyone who's ever thought it was too late. Too late to dream again, to build again, or begin again. So spoiler alert, it's not. I'm Faye Chappell, and I'm here to help you burn the rule book, rewrite the script, and become the main character in your next chapter. So whether you're 39, 49, 59, or 79, this isn't about getting your groove back. It's about finally giving yourself permission to freaking exist exactly as you are. So hit subscribe, tell that inner critic to take several seats, and let's make this your comeback era, because too late, my ass.
They say it's too late to start over after 40 or 50, whatever number that they've decided is basically done, right? But you know what? John Waterhouse didn't get the memo. He's a veterinarian turned educator. He's the co-founder of the Veterinary Teaching Academy and the creator of Canine Rehab on Demand. It's a digital platform that's changing the game for professionals around the world. And he is proof that reinvention doesn't have an age limit. It is a decision point, right? So welcome the unstoppable and widely innovative John Waterhouse.
Thank you for having me.
That's a good one, right? So everyone sees your platform, the growth, the business, but let's rewind a bit and tell me about really what did your life look like before you launched the VTA and Canine Rehab? Where were you?
Wow, my life. My life has taken many turns. I think my wife coined the phrase pivoting. We are the pivoters, we are the shifters, we are the movers and shakers. We have done a lot of different things with our lives. And so as we've moved through, we're always building on the foundations of what we've done before.
So when did you first realize, so I assume you met in vet school because you're both vets?
Yes, so we met at vet school, Sydney University, and we were both mature age students. So we had had previous careers before going back to being vet. Being a vet was a lifetime dream of mine.
Okay.
From being knee-high to a grasshopper, always wanted to be a veterinarian, but I was diagnosed in my last year of school as badly dyslexic.
Okay.
And in Australia, I think probably the same in Canada, university's paid for. So you spend your last 2 years sitting the entrance exam to go to university. And so we were told, my twin brother and myself, we would never go to university, go get a trade job. And my parents said, no, they will go on to university. And so we went and we did a business degree.
Okay.
So I've actually done 2 degrees with my twin brother. In the class, I have a business degree and I have a construction degree as well.
And so what was the moment that you decided, you know what? I know I did all this, but I really want to be a vet. And what made you really decide to go for it?
Every time I graduated a degree, I would call the vet school and I say, what do I need to get in? And they would say, you need to be a 4.0 average student. I said, I'm a 1 to 1.5 because I failed, and they'd laugh and hang up.
Right.
And then at 26, I did a course, and this course was put on by a gentleman called Dr. John DeMartini. And one of the questions was, what's one dream that you've had that you've crushed? And I went, being a vet. And then the next question was, if money was no option,
right,
what dream would you do? And I said, be a vet. And he was a doctor chiropractic, and he said, well, there's other avenues to being a vet. You could be a chiropractor, you could be an acupuncturist, you could do work in Chinese herbs. At the time, I was studying to go do my MBA, and so here in the United States. So I was sitting a little exam called the GMAT, and so I spent 6 months studying maths and English every night by my old school tutors to get ready for the GMAT. And so I quit my job on a construction site because I was learning that role as a foreman, and went to fulfill the dream of doing something in the animal market. And I contacted the vet school and I said, I heard you changed the criteria at 27.
Wow.
Because they have 5 slots for mature age students. And so I said, how do I do that? And they said, well, the entrance exam's on Monday. And this was a Friday. And I went, oh, how do I do this? And they said, call examinations and we'll see. So I called examinations and they said, sorry, it's all full up. You'll have to do it next year. And I called back the vet school and they said, tell you what, we'll call you up a copy of the exam from Melbourne, sit it in the dean's office, and we'll see how you go. So Monday morning I turned up, I opened the paper, and it was the GMAT.
Right.
And so I studied, and the rest is history. I got it.
Great. Okay, so you realized your dream. You
realized my dream.
You get your degree. You are a vet. Now what happens? You start working in a clinic?
Now I start working in a clinic, and I worked for about 2 years. Then my mother got cancer. So I came back to run the family business. We're ranchers. For Americans, if you're in Canada or the rest of the world, we call ourselves farmers.
Right.
And so we do about 700 head a year of cattle. So we came in and I took over running the cattle operation, and we do other things with the farm. So I could use my construction degree in that to do that. And I ran it for about 5 years. And every year I would sit down with Mum and say, I'm going to do another year, and these are goals that we're going to do. And at the end of 5 years, I said, I've done enough. I want to go back to veterinary. And so I then pivoted, and we came to the United States to do a little thing called pain management, because no one did rehabilitative medicine in Australia.
Right.
And so I'd met the gentleman that's the world leader 10 years prior at a conference. So I came and spent 4 weeks with him, and he offered me a fellowship, and went home, packed up, and moved to the States for a year. That ended up being 2 years, but it's 15.
Yeah.
I believe in synchronicity.
Right.
And so everything, as you do things, doorways open to other things.
Were you ever worried or scared about taking that step? Like you left a country, right? You'd had an established career, your family. Were you nervous about it?
Nervous in a good way, but always I put, we're only going to be here for a year.
Right.
So it was this great adventure that then turned into 2 years. 15 years later, we're still here, but everything opens an opportunity that builds on the opportunities beforehand.
So what happened? How did you come up with VTA? Like that's the first one you decided?
Well, I say I'm the brawn and my wife is the brains of our relationship. And Celia said we built a bricks and mortar rehab facility for 6 orthopedic vets in Colorado Springs. And so I did a turnkey, I created all the programs, I trained all the staff, I gave it to the clinic, and then they opened a rehab facility. And then Celia said, why don't we take everything you've just learned over the last 5 years and we put it online to train vets around the world in how to open clinics, what rehabilitation is, because all my classmates from Australia would call me once a month and say, what do I do for this, what do I do for that? Right. So there was a real need for it, because really it is a flourishing brand new industry or field. And so we went and launched Veterinary Teaching Academy.
And how old were you then? Do you know?
I was...
Don't say we. You shouldn't tell us her age. You should just say...
No, I always think of Celia's age than I think of mine now. So that was 10 years ago. So I was 45.
Okay, so you're 45, you have an established career, you're making money, and all of a sudden you're going to stop it and launch something online, and perhaps you'll make money? Like, were you nervous? Like, what did you do to prepare for making
nervous? But we gave ourselves timeline.
Oh.
So we said, if this doesn't perform by a certain date, we can go back to bricks and mortar.
Right.
We can go back to our vet profession. Our profession was our safety blanket.
Right.
But we thought, well, let's go out and let's give it a go. Let's experiment. We had worked hard. We'd seen the trials and tribulations of our profession wear people down. We said, we don't want that. We couldn't have children. So we said, let's making our profession better as our child.
Right.
But also let's travel. Let's enjoy life. And we have other things that we've started in the meantime, many things that allow us to have a great lifestyle, to travel, to teach, and enjoy other opportunities.
Cool. So you started VTA, and then you have another brand called Canine Rehab on Demand. What is the difference there?
VTA, Veterinary Teaching Academy, was the umbrella company. Then we launched a company called Canine Rehab Teaching Academy, and that's what I did all the training through.
Right.
And we had students or veterinarians around the world that I did a monthly webinar on, training them about something to do with rehabilitation or how to explain things in the consultation room. A little thing called COVID came around, and governments around the world came into, especially Australia, took the anaesthetic and the respirators out of vet clinics, so our students couldn't do surgery.
What?
So they then said, John, can we take your education and give that to our clients? They could learn something about hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, arthritis, things like that with their pets while they're at home with COVID.
Right.
So I said, I can do one better. Now, Faye, you're too young to remember the Jane Fonda workout series.
Go ahead.
So we followed that principle and we shot 100 exercise videos. We created a 12-week rehab program to go with the top 14 orthopedic diseases, packaged it all up and then gave it to the vets so they could sell it to their clients, so the clients could do rehabilitation with their pets at home after surgery.
It is great. I mean, it's not only a pivot in terms of your business, but you're doing something that benefits. So interesting. So you were a rancher, right? You were a business student. You were a vet in a clinic, and now all of a sudden you using your expertise, obviously, but now all of a sudden you have a camera and lights in front of you. How did that go?
It's a pity that you've already interviewed Celia and you could ask her this question, but it was deer in headlights.
Right.
We have a video of me, that little red light comes on, the video camera, and being dyslexic, I couldn't read the teleprompter. So, hello, everybody. And it's a fuss. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. John Waterhouse. Welcome today. And this is how because your nerves take over.
Right.
And you have to get over the fear of failure.
How did you do that?
I laugh at myself.
Okay.
I make myself the butt of jokes. I, almost to the point of being self-deprecating, I will not cut out mistakes. I laugh about it. And that has really helped me in my presentations, especially when I'm standing on stage in front of hundreds of people, all professionals. We also have the fear of intimidation or I've now got a blank on where we feel we're frauds.
Right.
We're not worthy. We're not that person. And I have a saying, my information's better than no information, so get your information out.
That's a great, great quote. We got to tell my producer to grab that one and put it out there. No, it's because, I mean, you have the expertise, you have all the background, but still when that camera goes on, most people go, oh, I'm not the expert.
It's a whole new medium. It's a whole new way of doing it. And really, it is quite confronting.
Yeah.
You see yourself on camera for the first time and you freeze, or you go, oh my God, I look horrible, or I did this or that. And it's an ever-progressing process.
Right.
So I get, every time I do an interview, every time I do a recorded video, every time I look into the camera, I get better and better. And you've just got to do it.
Right.
And you then look back at the videos that I did 10 years ago and you laugh at how bad I was.
But you did it.
You did it.
And I guess that's the really good takeaway for our listeners, is that it doesn't matter when you do it or when you start. I'm not saying you have to go in front of a camera, but anything that you're looking at doing differently or launching something new, you're not going to be the best when you first do it, but don't worry about it, right? And especially, I think, has your confidence grown with your age?
Cool. I think I've learned I'd say no and yes.
Okay.
I think I've learned to look at the power of what I'm doing to change lives and change the world. And that motivates me to get over my fear.
Right.
When I go onto a stage, and before that, it's quite amazing. You stand in the curtains and you want to be sick and you're sweating and nervous. And you walk out on the stage and the lights are on you and something just changes and you just do the job.
Right.
And then you walk off the podium, you walk off the stage, and then you think, oh my God, what happened? But I say yes, maturity in age, because I've done it a number of times.
Right.
And I've done it to huge audiences. And I find the bigger the audience, the easier it is.
Right.
I find
I agree.
the smaller the audience, the more boutique the interview,
Yes.
actually the harder it is, because you concentrate on the one person.
Right.
And if that one person starts the night off
Go sleepy.
and goes sleepy or get angry, and then you gauge yourself on that.
Yeah.
But when you're talking to a room and you can't see past that light, and you're looking at a multitude of people, it's quite inspiring.
Yeah.
It keeps you going.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with you. Like, and I don't like the word motivation. I like the word momentum, because I think what you're saying is going out on the stage. That's the momentum. So when you take the steps, you don't need to be motivated, because motivation is the goal, right? It's like, that's what you want to be. You want to be, I want to be motivated enough to do this. But if you actually take those baby steps, that just all comes, and you went on camera, you went on stage, you just did what you're supposed to do.
And when you tie to a purpose, you tie to, this is something I love.
Right.
I love it. It then becomes an inspiration. It's not a motivate. You don't have to be motivated to do it. You want to do it. And it's also about the journey. And you learn, and most people don't want you to fail on that journey.
That's right.
When you stand up on that podium, everyone is rooting for you to do a good job. They don't sit there and throw tomatoes at you. That we all have that fear.
Yeah.
Everyone in that room is rooting for you to do a good job.
They are.
And that is a hard thing for you to learn, to get over your own fears, your insecurities. Yeah. But once you do it, it's a game. It's fun.
Yeah.
And you make it a game, or you become paralyzed in your fear of not doing it. And I believe that the universe rewards you for taking that first step.
Right.
And doors open, opportunities open, because you're putting yourself out there. Yeah.
Well, you said something interesting, because you had said you love it, and that's why everything's coming. And I agree with that. Like, we always hear, do what you love. But, on the reverse side, there's a lot of people who don't know. And so we always say, love what you do if you don't. So, like, if you love what you do, even if you have to push yourself a little bit, then it becomes something that can be incredibly rewarding and great.
And I think it's flip sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
It's how you look at, is your bread better buttered one way or the other? It's whatever it is that gives you that zing to get up. And you might love the process, or you might love the job, or you might, but there's focusing on that part that you love is what allows you, because if you don't, especially our journey, we've been working at VTA for 10 years. I have a flat foreign from just constantly doing this all the time and pivoting.
Yeah.
But when you love it, you do it.
Yes.
And now we're launching a new product, and people go, oh my God, you're an overnight success. But they don't see the 10 years of hard work that goes into launching this product that's coming out in version 3 of the program, the Canine Rehab on Demand program. It'll take.
So what are you launching? Are you going to tell us a little bit about it?
So this is the Canine Rehab on Demand program that I talked about, we launched at COVID. We spent the last 5 years perfecting it. This is version 3, listening to what the industry does. And this is where my wife, Celia's the brains. I'm just the monkey up front, puts out the content, talks to the camera, and creates it. But she has worked behind the scenes to build the infrastructure, build all the technology to talk to each other. And we've been ahead of the game of technology.
Right.
And now technology is catching up to allow us to do the things that we've wanted to do for 10 years.
Right.
And so that's what I mean. We're now technology is catching up to us. And we'll now be an overnight success because we've been doing this for 10 years, but finally we found the way to.
Yeah, and it's an overnight success over 50.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, to me, it's really important for us to tell the listeners, because a lot of our listeners are 50, 60, and they're afraid to pivot or launch anything. And, some of the greatest brands were started by people over 50.
Most billionaires became billionaires after the age of 50.
Right.
it takes you that time to understand your craft, to get the momentum, to meet. It's the networking, to understand how the system works.
Right.
And so most billionaires, most big tech companies, most everything start with people over the age of 50.
Right. So if somebody's listening right now and they're like, I just retired and I got the gold watch and, I'm golfing but I really, there's something I miss that I really wanted to do, but I'm too old now. What would you say to them?
Oh, put down those golf clubs. We know that within 3 years of retirement, if you don't do something, you have a very high chance of kicking the bucket.
Yeah.
It's about I will never retire. My wife will never retire. We will never retire.
Right.
We have so many other things going on that this is just the start. We're starting new businesses as we speak. I don't see age as I'm only going to be here for another 10 years, 20 years. It's about doing it and leaving a better legacy for the world than we were here.
That's really great thing to say. I mean, I think it's inspirational for people, right? Because, as you had said, like you reinvented and you didn't really have a plan. You just had more of a pulse, right? You had like, I want to help. I want to do something. Not sure what's going to look like in 10 years from now, but I know it's going to happen. So I think that's, like I said, really inspirational for people. So, for those of you who are listening, if you're sitting on an idea that just won't leave you alone, just like John had, it's a cue, right? It's telling you to stop really waiting for perfection and just give it a shot. Give yourself permission because as we're called here, it's too late, my ass. We don't care. You're going to do it whenever you feel is appropriate. So if you're 80, it might be the time that you're going to do something new and exciting and vibrant. So thank you so much for joining us today, John. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you are, again, inspired. Please make sure that you tell us what you, what we hit on for you today, and make sure you follow John. You can find him on VTA, right? Veterinary Teaching Academy. We're going to put the links in the show, right, my producer? And we're going to do canine rehab on demand. John's got some really exciting new things coming up, obviously. So if you're interested in this, you really want to connect with him. Again, we'll have all the links. Please, please, please take inspiration from this and do something exciting for yourself, no matter what age, because too late, my ass.
Thanks for listening to Too Late, My Ass. If this episode made you feel seen or heard or a little more ready to take your damn life back, then go ahead and hit that follow button. If you want to go deeper, grab your free comeback kit at toolatemyass.com and join the Act 2 Insiders list for weekly tools, community, and reminders that your story is far from over. Remember, you're not done. You're just getting started. Too Late, My Ass, produced by the City Media Group.